Everyone, this is Sala from the Social Roundup, and today we have Kostas with us joining here. Hi, Kostas, how have you been?
I've been quite good. How are you?
How has your morning been?
Well, actually, I've come back from work because I've done a night
Uh-huh.
shift.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I'm not
literally.
tired, but I'm still
Uh,
alive.
okay. Uh-huh. I mean, like, I can't even imagine what it must be like to have night shift because I need my good night of sleep. If I don't have my good night of sleep, like, I do not function the rest of the day.
Yeah, I understand
Is
what
it?
you mean, but I think for me it's quite easy because my job is quite laid back, so it's not the end of the world.
Okay, okay. So like you can function without sleep, is it? Like how much of sleep do you usually get?
No, when I come home, I usually do sleep, but today I'm gonna go sleep slightly later because I've got another thing to do after this as well because I've got a Virgin Media guy coming around to fix the internet.
Okay. Hmm.
So I
So it's
just tend to
been
sleep
kind of
during the
a
day. Yeah,
okay. It's been kind of a hectic day, kind of new to the schedule, not something that's usual, right?
yeah.
And Costas, to be honest, I think like, with the fitness, with, maintaining yourself, maybe once in a while letting yourself like take that extra day, where you just, take a little
Relax.
bit of moment to yourself is
Yeah.
something that's good to do. Definitely. So actually,
Uh,
Costas, what are we gonna be talking about today at Relax Radio?
well, today on Relax Radio, we're going to be talking about something which could be seen as quite sensitive to some people because it is could be seen as a sad topic, which is suicide.
Definitely.
Which
It is a sensitive topic, and we're going to take a look at it because, more than anything, do you agree with me with the fact that, it's something that needs to be discussed, something that needs to be spoken about, something that doesn't receive a lot of attention, right?
I agree, and I think that for for most people, it's it's something to definitely talk about because if it's not spoken about, the emotions they stay inside, and it could lead to consequences just like it.
Exactly,
So
exactly. That is very true. I think the fact that, people are not able to express themselves, and the fact that, there's no one necessarily that is willing to help them talk about this, have this open conversation is exactly why it happens, which is why we at Relaxed Radio want to address this topic. And we're here. You can tune in with us, you can comment, you can join us on Facebook, YouTube, you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and you can comment and engage with us. And we're here to listen to you. We're here to engage in conversations with you. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us how your day is. Talk to us. And we are here to engage with you. Costa, so tell us what you actually think about this very sensitive topic, to be honest.
well, well, I've done my research and I've I come to the conclusion that suicide is a serious topic. However, in the society that we live in today, especially for me as a male, males are tend to be seen as
Yeah. We're extremely sorry. I think there's a bit of technical difficulties. We're all having this working from home. Don't we all do this? Problems are here, but we're going to wait until it is sorted. Meanwhile, while Kostas is back with us, we just want to keep you informed that whatever happens, we're here to listen to you at Relax Radio. Again, we're talking about the topic of suicide because we think it's important for you
yep.
to engage with us, to tell us how you're feeling. And Kostas, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah. So what I was saying, especially
Yeah.
for me as a male, in the society that we live in today, males are seen to be like, well, not even seen to be, they're kind of made out to be some like strong individuals who are kind of emotionless. And what have I what I've looked at is that the rate for suicide in males compared to females is almost more than double. So now in
Yeah.
100,000 males, there's 16 suicides. However, in 100,000 females, there's only seven, which I would consider that a big difference. And mainly
Exactly.
because males are seen to be like they're said to be like strong individuals, and because of that, majority of them who do tend to do these type of things hold their emotions in and not speak out.
Yeah, that is very true. And that is something that we actually need to address, because why is society not comfortable with males sharing their emotions? What is actually wrong with, males expressing their emotions? Why is it that we see it as something negative? Why are we not giving males a space to express themselves and resulting in some unfortunate incidents with them, right? So, Kostas, what do you think that needs to be done? I mean, tell us about your experience as a male in society. Like, what does it feel like to not be able to express your emotions? I think there's a bit of technical difficulties, but we will figure this out. We're going to get through this. And I have to say, as a woman, I know that there's a lot of space in society for me to express myself, to be able to be emotional, vulnerable. And knowing that males do not have the same space is actually really frustrating. And to know that that actually causes them to face consequences to this, which is the suicide rates increasing, doubling in comparison to women in society, is something that is very saddening. And what we need to be doing is we need to be making our society, shaping our society into a place, a safe space that we can discuss things, be emotional, be vulnerable, regardless of our gender. Right, Kostas? Don't you agree that we need to be creating a space in which we are able to share our emotions safe? And we are allowed to express ourselves, because not being able to
Yeah,
express yourself or bottling up your emotions is what causes you to have these thoughts and misleading yourself in when it comes to making decisions for yourself and for your life. So, Kostas, I also actually read up on
yeah,
that.
I do.
Yeah,
I
you
do
were
highly
saying.
agree about what you're saying as well, because
Mhm.
I think that people should be able to express their emotions regardless of their gender or anything that's got anything to do with them. Because, like I said, with the male thing, and it's not just affecting the males, because there is still seven deaths per 100,000 in females as well. So, regardless of the gender, you should be able to speak out. Because if you're not, it could tend to first it might start with small things like maybe doing like some illegal substances or self harm. And because you're not speaking out and you're doing these other things, you then might tend to do something more and more extreme, which could end in suicide, which
Definitely.
is obviously something that you do not want to be doing. Because it's not just your life that you'll be affecting, you're also affecting the people around you. Because now you are gone, you think, yeah, that's what you wanted to do. However, the people,
We're having technical difficulties, but Kostas will be back with us soon and we will continue the conversation with him. Meanwhile, uh, we just want to remind you that Relax Radio is all about creating that safe space. As much as we're talking about creating that safe space for you to express your emotions openly and share it and be able to express yourself in the society, Relax Radio is all about creating that safe space for you. So feel free to contact us, to engage with us, be it through Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it may be. We're hoping to have you on board discussing how you're feeling, expressing yourself with us. We're there to listen to you talk about your day with us, right? And we're here. Kostas is back with us again.
yeah. So,
Um,
like I was saying, the Virgin Media man is meant to be come to my house, so this because there's something with the Wi-Fi, so it just keeps cutting out
no
every now and
worries.
again. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, so you were saying?
So yeah, I'm just saying that people, no matter anything that you are, your gender, the way you look, anything, you should be able to express the way you feel, because if you don't, it does lead to serious consequences like this. And as I was looking into some suicide stuff, I read about something called the Suicide Act of 1961, which was basically said
Yeah.
that people who attempt to kill themselves to, to commit suicide and do not actually die
Yeah.
in the process will not be like prosecuted, because before it did used to be a crime, and this is not just in England, and this is in Wales too.
Yeah.
However, in other countries, if you do commit suicide, it is you could be prosecuted for it, which I could understand. However, I don't think it's fair, because due to your mental health, you might not actually understand what you're doing and make a decision that is bad, just like that.
Exactly. Like, being punished for some thoughts that are not in your control, being punished for something, that actually you need to be getting help for. I mean, what is the point of getting prosecuted for attempting to punish yourself as well, right? That is
Yeah.
not how we're going to be dealing with this. And that is something that countries need to think about. And there are other ways to fix these problems. There are other ways to address mental health, reducing the rates of committing suicide. And those are things that we will be discussing about in our show with Kostas and Sala on the social roundup right after this short break.
Climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do. Hopefully,
climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest. Maybe the base camp at least.
You're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It will make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you will interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there, you're quite right.
I've been doing this for quite some time. Hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. Okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and who you work with, and your education level or your lack of education or how involved you want to be. There's a lot of variables that we take into account. And then we say, okay, here's a plan. You start like this, that's great. And then we review it all the time. And we say, okay, we need to increase it, we're on track, we're not, this is what is happening. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a struggle. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million, and they're different. Right? They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country, to be fair. Different countries have different tax laws, so different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
Back here on the social roundup with Sala and
Costas.
So we were talking about something that is very sensitive and something that actually needs to be spoken about regardless of the fact that it is a sensitive topic, because its urgency and the need for it to be addressed, especially during times like lockdown, right, Costas? Do you think the lockdown has an impact on, suicidal thoughts?
I think so, yes, because I think that people were made to be kind of stuck inside their homes and not be allowed to have physical contact with other people. Definitely, probably would have made them think some type of things, especially when there's nothing to do, and people can get super sad because they're not seeing like their close friends or family, relatives, anyone. They might not be seeing them, and therefore they can get really emotional and start breaking down. And over time, because the lockdown was very long, the first one especially, so over time it could lead to some serious consequences.
Exactly. I think, like, even if we take a look at why people would have suicidal thoughts, it's being hopeless, it's being feeling lonely in this world, feeling like you're a burden to people. And during times like lockdown, when you are by yourself at home, or when you are away from your family, like Kostas mentioned, being away from yourself is something that being away from people that matter to you is really something that can take a toll on your mental health. It's something that can affect it. And actually, if you really think about it, if you look at cases that have happened during lockdown, it's been because people feel lonely. There have been many attempts that people have taken. Exactly. So Kostas, what do you think are the other reasons that people tend to make these decisions or attempts rather, to commit suicide?
I do definitely agree to the fact that the people feel
I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but it is very true that there are other reasons. There are other reasons as well that people feel lonely. There are things like trauma, depression that can also get to you, and even substance use, because sometimes what happens is that when you use alcohol or drugs, or you get that feeling in that moment that you want to commit suicide, or you rather attempt to commit suicide. And this can even count as an accidental attempt, and that could lead in the loss of your life, which is something that is very dangerous, and it's something that needs to be addressed. We're extremely sorry about the technical difficulties. Kostas is not with us right now, but he will be joining in soon, hopefully. Meanwhile, we were talking about suicide and the reasons as to why people have attempted to commit suicide. And another reason that is prominent, or rather most commonly seen, is loss or the fear of loss. Feeling like you would lose your job, feeling like you would fail when it comes to your education, when it comes to whatever you are trying to achieve out of life, losing someone that matters to you, whether be it romantic relationship, be it a parent, be it a sibling, be it a friend. Feeling like you've lost someone and lost a purpose in life could also lead to these kind of thoughts. So, we at Relax Radio are here to help you and to give that safe space for you to come discuss with us. Engage in this conversation with us. Tell us, talk to us about your day. Comment on Facebook, YouTube. We're also on Twitch, even on Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us, you can engage with us in our conversations, and tell us how your day is going. Share your thoughts with us. There may be things that we may be missing about the topics that we discuss here, and we'd love to hear what your opinion on it is as well. And moving on, we also want to talk about the show 13 Reasons Why. Now, if some of you have heard or if you have watched, I mean, 13 Reasons Why is like a thing, right? Everyone knows about it. So if you haven't heard about it, I would always recommend you to go watch the show. There are two seasons. I think the second season is out as well, but I have been able to watch only season one. And it actually talks about how youngsters, teenagers rather, have thoughts that make them feel like they need to commit suicide. And what are these thoughts? What are the reasons? What are the reasons that we try to commit suicide, right? Sometimes it's the little things. Now, watching 13 Reasons Why, actually, I learned from the show that there are very small things that you might tend to ignore, that you might not even think is a trigger for someone, something that you might not even think is making someone upset, that actually makes someone upset, right? And we have to be careful about what we say, how we handle people, because sometimes we may not be the victim, but we may be the reason the victim is feeling or is taking the decision to take their lives. And that is something that is really dangerous. We need to be able to understand and also help people deal with whatever problems they're dealing with, and be a support to them at times like that. And be very careful when we talk to people, because we have to always be sensitive to how they're feeling, their emotions, and how they also see things, right? Now, another thing that also could lead to you having suicidal thoughts is trauma, childhood trauma. Maybe it's something that happened to you, maybe it's something that you have never spoken to someone about, or you have spoken to people about, that makes you feel really upset, something that really, gets you in a bad mood. And so you feel like you can't continue your day, and it's frustrating for you. And when in situations like this, when you are feeling down, when you are feeling like you cannot take this anymore, it's always recommended to talk to someone. And the starting point of that would be to talk to someone you love, maybe your friend, maybe your partner, maybe your family member, maybe your sibling, maybe someone that you trust in this world, maybe an adult, maybe a teacher, maybe someone that your colleague, even someone who you're close to as a friend. And you can talk to them, tell them how you're feeling. And sometimes, it's the things that you don't really take seriously. Like, for example, we think that, the daily frustration of waking up and going to work is something that you can deal with, but there's a point that you get really frustrated with it. And there have been cases where people have committed suicide for the simple things, like losing interest in studying, losing interest in the work that you do. And those are things that we tend to ignore, but we need to be giving attention to. We need to be making sure that we enjoy what we do. And in the situation that we're not at peace with what we do, we have to make sure that we address those problems, address those problems before they become bigger problems. And that is exactly why we need to be taking advice from people that matter to us, that love us, or even professional help. Getting professional help is definitely recommended. We tend to think that we can handle things by ourselves, but once in a while, it's okay to get some help from someone, and we need to be open to the idea of getting help from someone. And that is exactly why Relax Radio is here with you, because we are here to talk to you, to engage with you, to get to know how your day has been. Share with us what you're feeling, and we will try to do whatever is in our control to maybe talk to you and make it easier with you, make your day easier for you, make your day lighter for you, because you can listen to us, and we have amazing shows that come up. We talk about interesting topics, and even topics that you would like us to talk about. You can comment and let us know, and we will discuss them, and we will be able to have something, somewhat of a bond. Relaxed Radio is always here for you. Feel like we are home. We are your friend that's going to be there for you at times like this. And during lockdown, especially, understanding that you've been at home and it's frustrating for you, just know that Relax Radio is always here 24/7 with you. So we will be back and we will talk about what could be done when you are feeling lonely or hopeless, and how you could address these situations, how you can address feeling or having these thoughts right after this break.
One of the easiest ways to increase your net worth is to ensure that you have higher cash flows. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to not buy things on hire purchase, not buy things over months and months because you can't afford them now, but you want it. It's kind of that delayed gratification. Rather than buy that couch, that car, that stereo, that computer, whatever item, and pay it off over 12, 24, 36 months at an interest rate, rather invest that money, make do with what you've got, and then after 12, 24, 36 months, take the money that you've now invested and buy that good. An asset could be anything that appreciates or reduces a tax bill. So it could still be a liability, but it reduces their tax bill. And I'm not going to go into the technicalities because that's out of our remit here. However, for our use or our purpose, what we are talking for the listeners here is, I would put this definition of an asset forward. An asset is anything that increases your income. Anything.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? When you are basically going out and during a day, if you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. If you buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true, the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods. They're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth, and then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if that, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, mainly one, because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. Yeah, that's very important, right? Because you want cars, yeah.
Very important. And also, like, people see me in like cafes, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on here, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Roundup with Sala, and we are talking about suicide and how it is a crime in countries. Now, when you think about suicide, why are people punished for something that is not in their control? That is something that needs to be addressed, not with punishing. When someone is trying to commit suicide, punishing them is not the solution, or that's not going to fix it. That's not going to make people reduce it when it comes to a larger scale. It's not going to make people scared, because ultimately, after losing your life, there is very lack of a control that the government has with you. And not being able to punish you means basically they will take away burial rights, or when it comes to how you are buried, or what needs to be done after that, how your family can get involved in burying you. And those are the things that the government is in control of, and those are the things that the government tries to control when you have committed suicide and when it is a crime in the country. So we need to understand that that necessarily isn't going to stop people from trying or attempting to commit suicide. There are other ways that the government could possibly help, which the UK government has taken action with. For example, improving mental health, creating a support system through the government to the general public, making it accessible for people so that they can take care of their mental health, which actually is very important for us to keep in mind. And we on our own also need to keep in mind that we need to take care of ourselves. There are different ways that we can maybe deal with these thoughts, right? And like we were talking about it, number one would obviously be to seek immediate help, right? If you are feeling suicidal, if you are having thoughts where you want to feel like you don't have a purpose to live anymore, seek immediate help, be it with professional help, be it talking to a friend, be it someone you love, someone you care about, someone that you trust more than anything. Do make sure that you talk to them, and that you are keeping yourself, someone is watching you, someone is being there for you, and that really is important. Number two would definitely be to create a plan for life, because there are different reasons as to why we would feel suicidal, especially during lockdown. Being at home, being by yourself would make you feel suicidal, which is why you need to create a plan for your life. Maybe start monitoring how much you eat, how much you sleep, what are the things that you do within a day, taking a walk, riding a bike, which might not seem possible with lockdown, but gardening, maybe having a pet at home. These are small things that could definitely help improve your life, improve how you're feeling, and spending more time with people, be it, understanding that this is during lockdown, maybe online dates, maybe online family time, friends, talking to them, spending that extra time, putting that extra effort to take care of yourself, putting a smile on your face throughout the day would definitely help you have less of these thoughts and feel less alone. And I just want you to keep in mind that there's always hope in this world, be it through people, be it through the little things that you enjoy. Like, for example, I'm someone who loves sunsets. I absolutely love watching the sunset. And, like after a rough day, after a really long day, when I go back home, when I watch the sunset, it makes me feel like, it was a long day, it was a tiring day, it's been pretty long, but, seeing the sunset, a beautiful scene, with my eyes witnessing that beautiful moment really helps me calm down. It really helps me relax and remind myself that, things are going to be fine, whatever it may be that is disturbing me. So find something in your daily routine. Maybe it's making food, maybe it's cooking for you. And cooking definitely is something that is very therapeutic. It's something that helps so much. And just playing a little bit of music and, doing a little bit of dancing in the kitchen while you cook is definitely going to help. And also with showers, long showers, hot showers. Hot showers apparently make you feel warm. Now, if you're someone who is feeling lonely, someone who doesn't feel like you have the love that you're looking for in this world, do take hot showers. Long hot showers really help. It makes you feel warm, it makes you feel like you are loved, and you do not feel lonely anymore. It is actually something that people have said that helps them a lot. And having a hot cup of tea in the evening is also something that would help. Now, I think, like, overall, why I'm saying all of these things is that we need to start focusing on the little things in life, the little things that are going to make us happy, the little things that are going to make our day better, the little things that are going to help us get through this. And I want you to look at life as not, something that you are trying to get through, but something you are trying to cherish and trying to live through. And we need to find reasons to live. And that is exactly why it matters that we look for the little things in life, be it, that time that we spend in the shower, the kitchen, or by yourself, right? And even with work and with studies, always pick something that makes you happy, because obviously there's a lot of stress that comes with doing things that you don't really enjoy. Like I remember, like when I was in school, I would have like, you know, anxiety waking up to go to school because of the frustration I had with, what I studied. And just learn to pick something for yourself that makes you happy, because what may be making you uncomfortable is the fact that you're doing something that doesn't make you happy. And it really matters that you take care of yourself, especially at times like this where you have a lack of control with your life, because you cannot step out of the house and you do not have the freedom to do whatever you want to do, hang out with the people that you want to be hanging out with, experiencing new things. You are pretty much stuck in, a room by yourself, or probably, a very limited space. And we need to try to make the best out of that time that we are alone. And we need to learn to love ourselves, learn to be by ourselves, and actually cherish that little time we have by ourselves, so that we are able to, get through the bigger things, get through life in general, right? Another thing that people have also, said that has helped them is hope in the fact that, spiritually working on yourself, working on your spiritual well-being. Now, this may be, with religion for you, it may be just through meditation for you. Yoga has helped people as well. Exercising helps people, trying to understand yourself, trying to connect with the person within you, trying to understand what exactly are you looking for, what is something that you crave, and what is something that you want to be experiencing, right? Now, I know that, the world has set standards for all of us, the world has set expectations for all of us, but I want you to understand that you need to create your own expectations, because all of us as humans were very different, right? The reason subjects like sociology or anthropology are not fixated like science is because of how different humans are. And that is exactly what we need to understand. We're all different from each other, and because we're different from each other, we need to be changing the way we deal with each other, right? And when it comes to you, you need to take the time to understand yourself, you need to take the time to connect with the person within you and understand what exactly they're looking for. Now, for example, I'm someone who absolutely, with all my heart, I hate patterns and schedules. And I know, like this is definitely something that really, like, it's really hard for me. It gives me anxiety, like, to think about waking up at 8 o'clock. Like, okay, by this time I need to have a shower, by this time I need to brush my teeth, or like saying, okay, by this time I need to get this work done. Or like a 9 to 5 job is something that really stresses me out, right? And that is exactly why I need to make sure that I find something that works for me. So I always make sure that, on different days I try different times, different things that I do first. As soon as I wake up, I don't do the same things that I do every day, right? And I always take the time to explore new ways of, spending my day, because I absolutely do not like patterns. And it gives me anxiety, which is why, like I mentioned, how when I would wake up to go to school, I would have like anxiety, and that was also because of the fact that it was a pattern for me. And now for you, it may be different. For you, you might be someone who enjoys patterns, who loves being organized, who loves being in control of what you do. And because of that, it may be better for you to actually come up with a schedule, have this like little cute little notebooks that have these tables, filling the tables, ticking off the things that you've done for the day. Like my sister, right? Around her room, she has all these tables that she's pasted on her cupboard, on her table. You find all these like cute little tables that tell her, okay, read a book, read 15 pages, reply to 3 messages, exercise at this time to this time. What are the exercises she needs to do? Like all these tables, that when I see all these diagrams, graphs that I see, and I absolutely like lose my mind when I see this, because it's not something that I like to do, but it works for her, which is exactly what I'm trying to tell you, right? Whatever works for you is what you need to pick for yourself. Do not be harsh on yourself. Do not expect yourself to, adjust to whatever is available or what the world expects of you. Try to find something that works for you. Take that extra time to find what works for you. And with that, we're going to go for a small break, and do stay tuned. This is Sala with the Social Roundup, and we are going to be discussing how you can help a friend who is feeling suicidal right after this.
climb Mount Everest. That is one of my that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do. Hopefully,
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest. Maybe the base camp at least.
They're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It will make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you'll interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there.
I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And yeah, on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? But when you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. If you buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true, the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods, they're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth. And then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if that, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value. It may still be doing quite a good things.
Welcome back to the social roundup with Sala on Relax Radio. Just want to remind you that we are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We are here also on Twitch with all of you. So do feel free to comment and message and engage with us. We want to talk to you. We want to hear what you feel. We want to hear how you are doing on this bright morning. And do keep us informed as to what you would like us to talk about as well. We'd love to know what you want to hear from us as well. So we were actually talking about suicide and how it is a serious issue in the UK, especially with men. We have seen, like Kostas mentioned to us, how 16 men in comparison to 7 men, right? 7 women, which is the ratio. And that really is something that is saddening. So we need to be on the lookout. We need to make sure that people do not feel like this. We need to make sure as a society we are doing our part as well, right? So, how do we help someone who is feeling suicidal? Now, first of all, before anything else, we need to identify if someone is feeling suicidal or not, right? How do we identify whether someone is feeling suicidal? There are different signs, there are different warning signs that we will definitely see in people. Like, for example, there's definitely people using certain terms, saying certain things that could mean that they're feeling suicidal. For example, them saying directly, which would be I want to die, but indirectly saying I wish I could go to sleep and not wake up. Now that is something that we will laugh about. That is something, especially on TikTok, if you see like wanting to commit suicide, suicidal thoughts are seen as something that is very normal, as something that is not, majorly a problem. But it is something that we need to think about. It is something that needs to be addressed, that is not addressed. And because of that, we need to stop looking at these things as something light. We should take it as a warning. And we need to understand that people have complicated thought processes behind these simple, very, very simple statements, right? And we need to be able to identify them and address them. Another thing that is seen as a warning sign is people writing suicide notes or having plans, social media posts that talk about having suicidal thoughts. Now, for example, if someone keeps telling you, what they want to do or what their will is, what they're expecting you to do once they die, or they keep saying that, the fact that they say, "Oh, I love you," and I just want you to remember me and not forget me and forgive me for what I do. Those are the kind of last messages that people have left to the loved ones, because they want them to know that they are loved and they didn't do it because of them, and they don't want them to be hurt. So they tend to drop this last messages that, kind of traumatize the people, to be honest, traumatize their loved ones, because the last message that they would send is something like, I love you and please forgive me for what I did, right? So these are all warning signs. So please do make sure that you are looking out for your friends, for your loved ones, for anyone who is posting something about, feeling suicidal, or, notes or plans, and also them giving away their favorite things as another sign. If they have given you something, or they're starting to, visit everyone, say goodbye to everyone, that is also a sign of feeling suicidal. And preoccupation with death or revenge. Now, that is also something that could be a warning sign of feeling suicidal. Now, there are different signs that are seen in different people depending on the person. For example, it may not be statements that they say. Some people do not talk as much, right? So it could be something like changing in their behavior, like how they eat, how they sleep, their appearances, their thoughts, and their feelings as well, right? Now, for example, you might notice that some people would have cuts on their body, or they have marks on their body, or they have, they always carry a blade around with them. And this self harm is also a sign of feeling suicidal. Self harm is actually one of the initial steps towards, attempting to commit suicide, because it is something that leads towards you wanting to commit suicide. It is something that makes you, prepares you rather. It's more like training ground. So if someone is actually, harming themselves, do make sure that you are looking out for them, and you are making sure that, they do not do something that is unhealthy for them, right? Another thing is also extreme mood swings and getting angry, withdrawal from people in general. These are also signs rather of people feeling suicidal. Sudden unexplained happiness. Now, we need to see these in general as signs of someone's mental health, not being in the right place, and we need to give it attention. Now, something that has always bothered me, and I don't understand why, right? But like in society, if you look at physical health, if someone were to say, well, you know what, like I broke a leg, the attention we give that person is very different to the attention that we give a person when they say, they're not feeling right, they're not feeling okay, because they may be having anxiety, or they may be feeling sad, maybe feeling moody. But the attention we give them is very different to the attention we give people whose physical health is not in the right place. And that is something that needs to be addressed. Because why do we see mental health as something less than physical health, right? It is something that matters as much as physical health, because a person comprises of physical, mental, spiritual health, and all three need to be in the same space, right? And if we're going to give physical health more attention than mental health, well, then these are the consequences to helping to prioritizing wrong, right? So we need to make sure that we are doing whatever it takes to maintain our mental health, and also our loved ones' mental health as well, right? So make sure that you are looking out for these signs that people are showing. Make sure that they are also taking care of themselves, and you are also looking out for them, right? Another thing that also you could possibly do is another sign that could possibly be a sign of suicide or feeling suicidal, is the fact that, they may be taking alcohol and drugs, overuse of alcohol and drugs, trying to find comfort in alcohol and drugs, right? This could be a warning sign as well. And feeling depressed, hopeless because of all of this is also something that could be a warning sign, right? Prior suicidal thinking and behavior, something that, is normal to them. Now they feel like, feeling suicidal is part of their daily routine. This is something that I see on TikTok all the time, right? Because I've seen people make videos on TikTok about how they're feeling suicidal, and, these venting videos that they make, and they laugh about how they're feeling suicidal, which is actually very serious, right? And this is a warning sign for people feeling suicidal. And what could be done about that is that we can talk to them. Now, for some of them who actually make these TikTok videos, they talk about how, venting on TikTok has helped them, because you being able to tell people how you're feeling, expressing yourself, even though it's, you're not necessarily getting real life response. Maybe it's just through comments, maybe people are making videos for you as responses, but people messaging you and knowing that you have a community that is looking out for you has helped people get over their suicidal thoughts as well, right? And make sure that people do not feel isolated or alone in this world. This world is like huge. It's a big world, right? And it really matters that you are making sure your loved one doesn't feel alone here, and you do not forget to give them that attention, giving them that daily, check on them, and have your little tight circle. Like for me, I have made it very clear to people that, this is my fixed circle, right? And these people, I'm going to be there for them 24/7. But I've also made sure that, with the people, with my acquaintances rather, that I've told them, look, I can always give you time. If you want me to talk, if you want to talk to me about something, if you're feeling upset about something, you can always talk to me. But I've always given them a different kind of space to the space I've given my loved ones. And now we all have this special circle in our life that really matters to us, and it matters that you are there for them 24/7, that, you are looking out and making sure that they don't show these signs, especially if they do show these signs, taking the necessary action to make sure that they don't act upon it is also something that really matters, right? Another thing is also, another sign rather is, people experiencing something that was unexpected, like for example breaking up with someone, or having losing their job suddenly, or failing in their exams unexpectedly, are also trigger points. So we need to make sure that when our loved ones are experiencing something, some sort of a loss, something that is kind of making them upset, that we're there for them, that we're emotionally supporting them throughout that process. Right now, for people like me, you feel like you're not doing enough, right? When someone loses their job, you're like, well, what could I do to fix it? Like, can I get you a new job? Like, not like I have access to all these things, not like I can give them a new job or something, right? Or when someone fails exams, like I remember when I was in school, when my friends would fail exams, like I would freak out for them, right? And I would be like, well, I can help you after school. And the problem with that is that sometimes the way you teach might not be helpful for some people, right? And for me, it was really hard accepting the fact that I couldn't help them, that I couldn't help them improve their academic life, and I would think about it and worry. But when they used to talk to me, when they would vent to me, they would feel so much more better about it. And just creating that space in which they can vent to you, especially your loved ones, creating that space in which they can talk to you would really definitely help, right? And another sign is also, if someone has been through some sort of trauma, abuse, always look out, because it can happen in the most unexpected of times, right? Sometimes you feel like they're really doing fine. You do not have any idea that, they're not doing okay. It's in those times, the most unexpected of times, that, these kind of things tend to take place, right? So make sure that you connect. Listen, be accepting, and don't judge them for the decisions that they make, right? Don't judge them for the thoughts that they have. Listen to them, try to understand, and try to empathize with how they're feeling, right? Just even not reacting, like you don't have to always say something to them, just being able to listen to them, actively listening to them, feeling like they are heard is more than enough sometimes, right? And that really matters, because that could help someone. And sometimes it's the most unexpected of situations. Like I have had people tell me sometimes, I would listen to them for half an hour, and they would tell me like 5 years later, they would be like, that half an hour that you sat and listened to me meant so much to me, because that actually got me going in life. And it's something that you wouldn't expect, because it's just half an hour you've given someone, right, from your day. And that could mean so much to a person, right? Confirm. Ask if they have thoughts of dying or suicide. Talk to them about it. Be open to having conversations about suicide. The fact that, suicide is something that is so taboo in society, that is not spoken about, is exactly why we are suffering in this society. That is why we're having people, worry about it, not be able to talk to people, confirm and talk to them about it. Discuss the fact that, they've been having these thoughts, and it's something that has been disturbing them, but that's okay. You can tell them that, they are protected, their thoughts, their feelings, and that, they would not feel threatened around you, right? And make sure that, you are always there for them, in especially during times like that, and that they feel protected with you. And but at the same time, do not agree to keep a secret, right? So if they feel suicidal and they're saying, well, right now I am going to do it, do not keep it to yourself. Do not promise to keep it a secret, because you are actually helping them and assisting them. And that actually is a crime, right? Assisting someone to commit suicide is a crime. Now, number one is you don't want to mess with the legal system. But number two is also, why do you want to assist someone with something like that, right? Maintaining or keeping a secret is not more important than actually helping someone save their life, right? So make sure that you are not promising to keep a secret, and tell someone that is possibly in their proximity, if you are not around them, maybe their home, maybe their family, or even try to contact someone who is a professional and try to get help. So just make sure that you are always there for your friend, and you are also taking care of yourself while you are taking care of people around you. And a hotline crisis text line that you can possibly text is 82258, 85258, sorry. And you can text them shout, which is in capital SHOUT, shout on to 85258. If you are feeling suicidal and if you want to talk instead, you can call them up on 116123. and they will be willing to help you out with the thoughts you're having. With that, we're coming to an end of the show today. For the first show on, suicide, we will be coming back in with Andrea, who will be joining us, and we'll be talking about friendship and also how to make friends. So stay tuned. This is Sala from the Social Roundup, and we will be back again soon.